Hi, and welcome to the SoEngage Plus podcast, an Erasmus Plus project funded by the European Commission. The overall objective of SoEngage Plus is to support farmers to learn about and engage in social farming and to promote their social farm services for the economic benefit and sustainability of the farm and the rural community. Hi, this is Nikki Foster, Social Farming Support Service Coordinator for Rural Support. Welcome to the SoEngage Plus podcast from Rural Support, Episode 1. In today's episode, we'll be in conversation with Dr. Aoibhinn Walsh, expert in social farming, and we'll be talking about the present and future for farmers in relation to social farming in Northern Ireland. Hi Aoibhinn, can you introduce yourself and the organisation that you represent?
Yes, so I'm Aoibhinn Walsh. I'm Head of Social Farming and Innovation with Rural Support. Rural Support is a charity based in Northern Ireland. We work for the farming community. We offer independent and free guidance for farmers and farm family members in support of their farm business and personal well-being. And part of that work is the Social Farming and Innovation Unit that I head up, and within that we have the Social Farming Support Service. So maybe just a bit more about myself. I've worked in the area of social farming since 2012, initially on a research project that was cross-border, looking to pilot social farming and the processes behind that and what works and the model of social farming that we've subsequently established within Northern Ireland and with our colleagues in the Republic of Ireland. And as follow on from that project, the Department of Agriculture, Environment and Rural Affairs in Northern Ireland funded a social farming support service. So from October 2015, Rural Support has delivered the social farming support service, and the work that we do is to promote social farming. And what social farming is and how we define it is an innovative use of agriculture to promote therapy, rehabilitation, social inclusion, education and social services in rural areas. What that means in practice is that it's a service delivered by farmers. It provides the opportunity for individuals with support needs to get involved in farming in a supportive way. The individuals that we've worked with to date in terms of participants, they are individuals with a learning disability or recovering from mental ill health, but it can support a wide range of people. The social farming activities are structured, meaningful and part of a typical farming week. So that's one key area in terms of promoting what social farming is, and the other piece of work that the Social Farming Support Service delivers is supporting existing and new social farming initiatives. So as of May 2022, we have 15 active social farms in Northern Ireland. So farms delivering on a weekly basis, from one session per week up to 4 sessions per week. That's the most that one of our farms is delivering. And all the support that they need in terms of their delivery is delivered through Rural Support and our Social Farming Support Service and the coordinator within that team. And then developing new social farming initiatives takes time and effort and sort of a structured approach as to the training that farmers need to be able to deliver in relation to safeguarding, first aid, our equivalent of a police check here in Northern Ireland, and working with the Health and Safety Executive in terms of the farm environment. So there's a lot that the Social Farming Support Service does and needs to do to support the farms delivering social farming. So that's where it sits within Northern Ireland, within the farming support charity Rural Support, and directly funded by our Department of Agriculture, Environment and Rural Affairs.
That's brilliant. From your experience, what's your view on the importance of social farming in Northern Ireland?
I really can't speak highly enough about social farming. As I say, I've worked in this area for 10 years now, and the farms that deliver social farming, the farmers involved, they all operate at such a high level that, they're focused on meeting the needs of the people that they support. It is very much a planned, outcome-focused placement for people, engaging on the farm, using the natural assets of the people, which is the farmer or the grower, with their family in a lot of cases, the place, the farm itself, the many activities which are carried out in the farm, and the community around the farm. So I've always said my best days in my job over the last 10 years are the days that I get to go out onto the farms, seeing what people get to do, seeing, the strengths of the farmers, who are delivering social farming. A lot of people have come to social farming delivery, so the farmers are interested in doing this because they maybe have personal experience or professional experience. they maybe have had a relative with a learning disability or a relative who has, lived with mental ill health throughout their life, and they want to do this because they can see when, a person gets to be in the farm environment, appreciating the landscape, the livestock, they really open up and they forget, maybe about some of the challenges that they're living with and just enjoy being on the farm and doing the activities. So it's just so important, for the participants who benefit from engagement, but also for the farm, in terms of how we promote social farming in Northern Ireland. It is a service that the farmers deliver, and for providing the service they're paid to cover their personal input and the resources required. So a lot of farmers would talk, and we would promote that social farming can support the farm sustainability, when typically it's become that maybe people are working off farm to supplement the farm income. This can be a way to use your farm for social good and generate a small income from that. I suppose I've just been thinking about, how the farmers speak about delivering social farming, and, putting across their words for anyone interested in social farming and why they do it. So just to directly quote from one farm: "We are involved in social farming because as a family we are passionate about sustaining our farm and delighted to do so in a way that is having such a positive impact on our rural community. We love providing social farming opportunities to our participants, who at the moment are adults with learning disabilities, autism or mental health difficulties. Previously, all the participants had to travel long distances to access daycare opportunities away from the community. Social farming gives them the chance to be socially included and connected to their own local community. Beneficial outcomes also include learning new skills, increased self-esteem and improved health and well-being. Providing social farming services has brought a new lease of life to our farm and to us as farmers, allowing us to share our connection to the land and to nature with our community. We see social farming as being a very important part of our future as farmers." So I think that tells the story, and what I've always said is, seeing social farming in action or hearing from the people that are involved, the farmers or the participants, is the best way to tell the story of social farming. So I've been privileged to work in this area for over 10 years now, and along with yourself, Nikki, as the Social Farming Support Service Coordinator, both of us are committed to driving the direction of social farming and the development of it here in Northern Ireland.
Aoibhinn, could you tell us a little bit more about the values of social farming and where its position is in Northern Ireland?
Yeah, it's really important to think of social farming as being based on a set of core values, which ourselves within Rural Support and the Social Farming Support Service, we impart and emphasise those values to all farmers interested in social farming, and those that are delivering, they demonstrate those values. So really it's based on the core premise that social farming is person-centred. It's delivering a meaningful service to people on a small number of people at basis. It's offering a high quality of support, so that is key to your service delivery. It's focused on offering opportunity and choices for people within their own local community, which obviously feeds into the value of social inclusion for people with support needs. And really that social farming delivery should offer positive and life-enhancing outcomes for the participants involved, and then also for the farmer and the farm family. So those values are key to our delivery here in Northern Ireland, and it's very important that all delivery is framed in that way. And just sort of feeding on from that, for social farming to be successful, it's key that it's the participant's choice to engage. So the participant being the individual who benefits from engagement. And to date, as I mentioned, that is an individual with a learning disability or mental health issues that we have supported to date on farms. So the process of promoting social farming is to allow this opportunity to be understood, that people are aware that it's an opportunity for them, and then they have the choice to engage. And then the separate piece for social farming to be successful is that the farmer and the participants are supported once the engagement begins. So that's where we step in behind the farmer to be that support to them through their delivery, and also that liaison with the referral organisations. So for social farming to be successful, based on the values, those values then feed through the participant referral process that we follow, and we operate here in Northern Ireland, and that's built on the sharing of information at the start, where the farm profile is shared so that potential participants can understand the type of farm that is in their locality, that maybe a couple of farms that they can choose from. We share that information. We share back to the farmer initial information on the potential participants, so they just have an understanding of who it is, why they would be interested in social farming, and then the next step is to arrange an initial farm visit. So that's very important as a follow-on from the farm profile, where you're getting an idea of the farm and the people involved, but actually meeting them is an important part of that process. And then at that point, if both parties are happy, the farmer side and the participant side, and obviously the referral organisation, the staff, the family of the participant, that process of everyone making a decision to engage in social farming, then additional information is shared with the farmer in the form of a support plan. So that sharing of information is very important, so that the engagement starts from that appropriate position, where everyone knows what support needs people have and what the farm environment can offer. And then as the process begins, that support is ongoing, that we're there to support the farmer and to liaise with the referral organisation as needed, and that the farmer can feed any information through to us, to the referral organisation as appropriate. So that is key. And then I suppose just to sort of recap or emphasise why social farming works, what the benefits are for the participant. We do obviously recognise the benefits for the farmer in terms of, the satisfaction they get from delivering a service, and also then the piece about farm sustainability. But really the benefits being focused on what the participant gets out of it, which is sort of broken down into key areas. What they benefit from engaging in meaningful activities, so the development of new skills, or maybe it's using skills that you had previously in your younger life that you're bringing through again, now that you have the opportunity to get involved in farming in a supported way, and that sense of achievement, sense of purpose that you get from starting a task, completing it, and the confidence in doing that, and having a place on the farm. So then the natural surroundings, what you benefit from being outdoors. The wonderful weather we have here in Northern Ireland can present challenges, but it's always possible to be outdoors with the right gear, and that's the emphasis. That there's obviously a variety of activities on offer, but that activity can happen all year round, as it does in farming. But the psychological benefits of being outdoors benefit from the wide open spaces of a farm, and that sense of being supported in the natural environment. And then the third key area being social connections. So what a social farming participant can feel from being part of a small team in a social farming session, being supported by the farmer, where maybe other services are delivered in a different way, where there's larger numbers involved. Social farming is that, obviously, as I mentioned, that person-centred, small numbers, small groups. So that opportunity to build peer relationships with other participants and being supported by the farmer in that, and the sense of belonging that you can have from being part of the team, part of the farm, part of the community. So all those things, in terms of the values, the benefits, the referral process that we've developed here in Northern Ireland, and we lead on in rural support. Over the years, we've recognised where there might be barriers to referrals coming through, and maybe a lack of understanding of what social farming is, or the high quality service that the farmers provide. So in recent years, we have developed social farming standards, which is a requirement for existing farmers and new farmers as they come on board, and it basically just demonstrates the professionalism in the sector, especially for the new farmers, that they recognise this is the requirement of delivery. It ensures health and safety and other legal requirements are met, and it provides safeguards and protections to all parties involved in social farming. And really we just recognise within rural support and sort of the wider sector of social farming here in Northern Ireland that referral organisations in the main maybe needed that reassurance of what the farmers were doing and doing well, but seeing potentially where there was risks in a farm environment, and maybe, where we promote social farming as happening on ordinary working family farms. We don't require farmers to be therapists, to be social workers. Where I've spoken about previously, they might be coming with professional or personal experience. We don't require that. So we recognise the need for farmers to demonstrate where they are delivering an excellent service, and they are doing that, but it's that evidence piece. So the social farming standards are broken down into 3 pillars. So that is the structure that we break down where we need farmers to demonstrate they're compliant with the standards. So the 3 pillars are a person-centred service, a place for all, and a safe farm environment. And the farmer is required to complete an application form which asks them questions within those three key pillars, and their answers are then verified by a farm visit from ourselves in Rural Support. And Rural Support are the awarding body of the social farming standards. So once the farmer has completed the application form, the verification visit has happened, the information is compiled and presented to a panel, and in that sense it's independent of ourselves within Rural Support's social farming support service. So that verification is done at panel level, and the panel is asked to consider the farm, their application, and whether they have achieved the standards, or if there's certain things that they need to provide further evidence on, and maybe work towards applying for the standards at a later date. So the panel consists of 3 representatives, 1 from Rural Support's Board of Trustees, 1 from the health and social care sector, and 1 from the health and safety sector here in Northern Ireland. So that's really important in terms of that verification and demonstration of the value and the excellence that social farmers are providing. In 2022 we will be awarding the standards to our first set of farms, so this will be a gradual process as we work within Rural Support to get all of our farms through the process and present their delivery to the panel for consideration. So that is a key piece for the development of social farming going forward. So just to sum up then, from my point of view, in terms of what makes social farming work, and trying to give anyone listening an overview of social farming here in Northern Ireland, really it's focused on what the farmer delivers. They're giving up their time, their skill set, their experience, their expertise. They're doing that willingly because they want to use their farm for social good. They're also using the farm characteristics, so all the enterprises are different and they all have unique attributes and an environment that can enrich a lot of people's lives. The social farming activities themselves, because they are meaningful, structured, seasonal, there's a value to what's being done, and people that like being outdoors, want to work with animals, want to work with the land, the soil, that really works for them. What makes it work is when the logistical arrangements work out, and that's obviously core, that people can get out to the farm and transport works out for them. The different facilities then that the farm and the farmer offer in terms of comfort and welfare, in terms of where people eat, where they're able to wash their hands, etc. That's all important. And then going back and touching again on the values that we promote for social farming delivery, that those values are upheld, the disposition of the farmers involved, they're wanting to do this for the right reasons. It's an opportunity to learn for the participants to achieve their potential, and also for the farmer to learn about supporting people with our support within Rural Support. And then what the farmer is a community connector. That's always been the way here in Northern Ireland, that small family farms are intrinsic to our rural community, and this is sort of heightening and promoting what the working family farm can offer. So maybe just the last point from me is just to say I would encourage anyone interested in social farming to contact us here in Rural Support. You can find us online easily through our website, and our contact details are there, and there's overview information on social farming, so please do get in touch.
All sounds wonderful. If somebody was listening to this and thinking, oh yeah, that would be great for my farm, and how do they go about getting in touch, and what's the sort of process somebody would go through from sort of start being interested in social farming, and what support do you offer to them?
Yeah, so the Social Farming Support Service, one of the key functions is to, maintain the farms that we have in terms of any support needs they have, and balancing that the network of 15 farms and anything that could be happening week to week, and being that communication tool with the referral organisation like the likes of the health service. But a key thing is developing the new cohort of farmers. We want to be speaking about social farming in the future with a larger number of farms across all of Northern Ireland, so that people who are interested and could benefit from engagement get that opportunity. So we encourage farmers to contact us directly. We have an expression of interest form on the Rural Support website, and our website as a broad, as an overall charity, it's very important for the farming community because we offer different resources as a support hub. So if anyone is coming onto the website to look for a specific thing, they might come across social farming, and the expression of interest form is a way of directly saying, I'm interested in social farming, providing your details, and then we would follow up in that way. We also get people directly contacting us, and we go out to opportunities where it's possible to speak to people who could deliver social farming or could benefit from delivery. So just now, in this month, May 2022, we've had a really successful week at the largest agricultural show in Northern Ireland, the 𝐵almoral show. So myself and Nikki, we spent so much time chatting to people who could maybe be the future social farmers. So once a farmer is engaged with our social farming support service, we then have a process where we support them to fulfil what is required to deliver social farming. So we always work with delivering an introduction session on what social farming is, so the farmer gets that view of the different things that are involved, when you talk it through and all the different things you need to be thinking of, and down as far as if you're doing an activity such as feeding calves, how you break that down into 15 different steps. And what has worked really well with that introduction training is delivering it from ourselves as a staff team in the social farming support service, but also having farmer input, so from the farmer's point of view, how do they do certain things, how do they manage things, how do they overcome challenges, maybe in relation to communication or people's mood when they arrive on the farm. So that introduction piece is so important. We then engage with the farmer on an ongoing basis in terms of we would have required training that we expect farmers to do, which is such as the safeguarding, the physical first aid, completing the access and eye check, which is that sort of clearance check for anyone involved in the farm family, and then also, as I mentioned, the health and safety executive being involved in assessing the farm enterprise as to their readiness to deliver, and if there's anything that maybe needs addressed. So we would work with the farm. Part of that is obviously Nikki, yourself as the coordinator, going out and meeting with the farmer in the farm environment, seeing their enterprise, their setup, answering any questions they might have, developing a farm profile, which is the key thing. If you're telling the story of your farm, who is it that's involved? Who is the lead farmer? Maybe there's two people in the farm family involved. What type of enterprise do you have? Because each of our farms are different. What could I get to do if I'm coming to your farm as a participant? So potential activities. And that's a good planning process for the farmers as well. It's not just a case of do this to be able to promote your farm. It's that thinking process behind delivering social farming. We would highlight where they need to make considerations in relation to such as insurance. There is a requirement to have certain levels of liability cover, and also having social farming named on your policy. So chatting to your insurance company or broker on that is important. We've in previous years, the Department of Agriculture, Environment and Rural Affairs here in Northern Ireland have offered a social farming capital grant scheme. So that's something that if a farm is active in delivering social farming or would like to deliver social farming, they can apply for that funding. So that's run really successfully. They've offered that 5 times, so in 5 different years farmers could apply for small grant funding, and they utilise that opportunity in myriad of ways in terms of addressing what maybe needed what needed fixed on the farm, or also to introduce new activities. So that focus on how to deliver social farming differently or in a better way. So that's all different things that we can do as a support service, and we work very closely and are supported very well by our Department of Agriculture, Environment and Rural Affairs. So we're very grateful for their support. Just to sort of maybe then go into a bit more detail about what social farming is and what it involves then for the new farmers getting interested. Our typical social farming day here in Northern Ireland, with awareness that this can vary farm to farm, is on average 10 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. One farmer supporting 3 participants, so that ratio of 1 to 3 in terms of support level. Some farms, as I mentioned, there's a number of people from the farm family involved, so potentially if you have 2 farmers or farm family members, supporting up to a maximum of 6. We never have more than 6, in the sense of people getting an opportunity to get involved in activities and feel like they're part of the day. So that typically runs that people arrive, there's a morning routine that has to happen. You know, as I mentioned, all these activities are meaningful, structured and seasonal, so no activity is made up. So there is those set things that have to happen, and that's important too in terms of the value that people put onto it, making sure they turn up each week, because you know, there's things that need to be done, and you're part of that. You're part of the team on the farm that day. Then engaging in maybe specific activities that have been planned for that time of year, or you know, that maybe it's a longer term project where you're maybe clearing out an orchard area and you're doing that over a period of time, working to the end goal of the orchard being back active again. Then a break for lunch, and then moving into your afternoon activities, and again where there is some routine to that, or just switching to a different activity so that there is that variety, and then the routine of the end of the session and leaving the farm. So explaining all that, you know, as I'm doing now, to anybody interested in social farming, is a key thing that we do for the new social farming potential deliverer in that new farmer group. What we also do too with the introduction training is allow the opportunity to visit a social farm. So we've done that over the years, where you know, in the support service we would deliver the theory of social farming, but seeing it in practice in terms of what does the farm look like, you know, to nearly reassure people that it's still a working family farm, which is the model of social farming that we work with. They haven't moved into any sort of a healthcare setting based on a farm. It is very much still the working family farm. So that is an important piece, and as I said, that further allows interaction between farmers interested in delivering social farming and the farmers delivering, so that sort of peer learning. And then once a new farm starts, we're very keen that that farm feels supported. So they have the support of us, but we also have a network of experienced farmers. So if someone's facing a challenge or just feels uncertain about something, we can pair them up with someone who's maybe had that issue before. You know, as I said, in the past we've had that in relation to maybe where there's communication difficulties, and just having that chat with someone who knows and has gone through that process is really important, and we want farmers to feel fully supported when they're delivering social farming.
That's brilliant. So you touched on it earlier that there was currently 15 active social farms in Northern Ireland. In the coming months and years, where do you see the future of social farming?
Hopefully growing and growing strongly. You know, part of the work we do in terms of promoting social farming, and that will be available on the Rural Support website, we would map the farms that we have currently, and you can see, you know, from looking at the map, there is a lot of scope there, you know, in terms of even the number of farms we have here in Northern Ireland. This is obviously only a small number that are involved in social farming, even those that are active and those who want to be active. So there is definitely scope and capacity. You know, I would hope to be looking towards you know, multiples of our 15, you know, so up to 50 and beyond, you know, where we're aiming towards the farms that we already are working with and getting those active, and then keeping that momentum growing, because as I said earlier, all the farms are different. They offer different things, based on the model of social farming we offer, but location is a key thing, so there is demand out there in areas across Northern Ireland, and a key thing in terms of how social farming works is the transport piece, so where obviously these farms are all based in rural areas, the more farms that we have involved, using a range, participants using a range of different transport modes will make life easier, and make new opportunities come on board, and I can see where we have it in some cases where participants can avail of different farm opportunities. This should be a movement that grows and is there for anyone who is interested. So recognising that in Northern Ireland, health and social care policy is moving towards, and has been for a number of years, care that is person-centred, community-based and individualised. So people who would benefit from this would be happier and more productive in a smaller group setting, as opposed to maybe traditional daycare, where a lot of people are supported very well and need that care. These are opportunities for people who can be supported in the local community and by the farmers who are dedicating their time and their farm environment to do this. So yes, it's definitely growing in that sense. That is a motivation for us, growing the number of farms, but also where maybe our existing farms could maybe they're delivering 1 day a week and they would like to deliver a second day, and also growing in terms of the service user groups that we offer these opportunities for. So to date, as I mentioned, it's learning disability, mental health recovery are our two key service user groups, and we've sort of moved into some other service user groups on small numbers. Brain injury, early onset dementia, refugees and asylum seekers. We're keen to push that forward in larger numbers. So where we're working at currently a project application to work with diverse ethnic communities across Northern Ireland. So any newcomer to Northern Ireland who again might face difficulties integrating into the local community, using farms and farmers as the conduit to that integration. And definitely where we've seen good practice with, as I said, the small numbers of brain injury and early onset dementia individuals, we would like to see that growing. And again, where social farming is recognised across Europe and across the world as benefiting a range of service user groups, people who are challenged in a range of different ways. So whether that's young people who don't engage in the education system too well, or that older cohort that maybe face more difficulties with isolation and loneliness. If social farming could be supported in a broader way than it is currently, and more widely available, that will benefit all of society here in Northern Ireland.
Brilliant. Well, that's all we've got time for today. I just wanted to say thank you, Aoibhinn, for taking the time out and sharing your knowledge and experience with all our listeners. That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening to the SoEngage podcast. If you want to find out more about this project, you can follow us on Facebook or visit our website at www.soengage.eu/SoEngage-plus.